So you know your bracket. You're the only one who knows, what the teams you're actually been playing against.
Yes, sir. Yes,
How
sir. Yes,
are
sir.
you
Oh, it's gonna be
feeling?
so
How are
fun.
you feeling about plans? Are you feeling like, oh, this is gonna be easy? Are you thinking, oh God, like what if I get knocked out? Like what's the mindset?
I mean, I'm just gonna say we already scrimmed against R7. We already scrimmed against Summit's team, and I was doing some things to that guy. I'm just gonna put that out there, okay?
I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely not worried about his team.
Okay.
And the team after that, like, if we somehow lose plans, like, I'm actually gonna retire. I'm actually gonna retire from League of
Don't
Legends.
go, bro. Right? Go. You're the.
Bro, 17 years
Don't
old,
say
I'm
that.
gone. I swear, like.
What do you
no
mean
freaking
then?
joke.
Hello and welcome to Pros. We're going to talk about Worlds today. We got Bwipo, Sniper, and UmTI. All three of our teams here represented that are going to go off and finish 1, 2, 3 at Worlds, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For both of you guys, it's your first time at Worlds, right? Yeah. So how excited are you? This is, like the pinnacle of esports, really.
So I was very excited when I heard that I'm going Worlds, and I'm actually thinking that when I go there, I really want to go to London because there's gonna be the finals match. I hope I can go there,
Yeah, no, I'm very excited to be honest as well, just because this is my first time going to Worlds, and playing against players like Zeus or like Doran or whoever's gonna be going there would be like that dream come true, just so I can like.
Zeus might not make it.
Oh, he might not make it, but I'm just very excited to go to Worlds just to get the experience.
Doran? Really?
Well, not necessarily Doran, but he's just like one of the top laners, that just came to mind. And he's a pretty good top laner. It's not like
All I'm
he's
saying is
bad or anything.
There's
in my
two
opinion.
Chinese top laners that are a tier above Doran, in my opinion.
Okay.
You could
Who
be
are the top
excited about
laners?
playing them.
6ix9ine, Ben.
6ix9ine,
Bin.
Very
Yeah.
true.
Bin.
I would think
No,
like
these two
look
top
up to
laners
Bin
as well.
most.
Yeah.
It is so good.
For sure crazy. Yeah.
Definitely Ben as well. Just a bunch of these top laners.
Yeah.
You got my point.
I mean, yeah, totally. It's, how does it feel like as far as, what Worlds kind of represents almost? Because like this is the biggest esports tournament in the world of any game, not just League. Like this is something that there's so much production for. There's songs, there's all this performance, it goes across, multiple stages, teams from all around the world, players, like famous players that you've watched, you're mentioning some of them, but it's like for a lot of players, it's like getting to play against Faker at Worlds or getting to play against Bin or whoever your idol is something that people literally dream about, right? And then there's the added a layer of the fact that it's like now it's not just FlyQuest fans cheering for you and 100 Thieves fans cheering for you and TL fans cheering for you. It's all of the North American fans. Like you're carrying kind of the hopes and dreams, right, of all of the fans, all the players. You're representing all those people. Like, does that feel really exciting? Is that intimidating going up against all these different players and with all those expectations?
For sure, very exciting. Face against the Faker and face against the Peanut is gonna be really fun right now.
I mean, it's like you're just playing your own game, There's just a bunch of people that enjoy watching you play, and like that's everything you can ask for as a professional player, in my opinion. So yeah, it's just not really any pressure for me. It's just about having fun and getting to experience everything there.
You've obviously been to Worlds a number of times.
Yeah.
How does it feel for you? Because you've obviously gotten to experience, even the finals, right? Like you made it to a finals. You got to experience the biggest like pageantry there is, right? Like there's, a massive opening ceremony and the performances, and you're in a huge stadium, and there's fans from all over the world that are watching it. Like millions and millions and millions of people watch the World Finals. Does that make it something that like, kind of motivates you even more to get back to that level?
Absolutely. I mean, I remember the guy that did the stage stuff. I don't know what the specific job is called, but it was the same person that did 2018 Worlds. And that day he told me this is going to be the best day of your life. And fun fact, he came up to me and he's like, still not as good as 2018, right? And I was like, well, you have a point.
Yeah.
That's just the way the 2018, like that's the way World Finals is, it's everything. And I think the biggest deal about Worlds for me, since I took a break and I didn't get to participate for 2 years, what I really valued about Worlds is it's the opportunity to really appreciate champions at their highest level. Because normally in professional play, you only have like a week, and maybe you're even competing that week before you can prepare picks for the next week. With Worlds, patch is set in stone a month ahead of time or a few weeks ahead of time, and you get a boot camp, you get time to really prepare the picks like up to like the maximum of the champion's power, the maximum of what a champion can do. So that's what it's all about for me. It's really to show up, play your game, and like squeeze the absolute maximum out of your champion and make people realize things about your champion that no one even knew they could do. That's what I really value about Worlds, and that's an opportunity as a professional player to show that to everyone in the world. Like, your Graves can do things that no one else can do. And in my case, it's like Volibear, Swain, Graves. These are some of the champions that I use that made people go like, wow, like these champions can do that?
Yeah.
And that's what people remember me for. And that's what I love so much about Worlds, is that opportunity to really like dig deep into those champions and be excellent on those champions. Make people view that champion that like been maybe played the whole year, but because you get all that extra time to practice, they're just like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Worlds is something that I think, you know, with a good performance at Worlds, like that can make your whole career, right? You know, and I think for a lot of people, when you're asked about what is your favorite league moment or what is like the most iconic moment, people think of like Faker Shockwave will fly in the mall. They think of, you know, the Rocks Tigers arrow. They think of, you know, KTIG base race. They think of like all of these moments that happened at Worlds, right? Like, is that something that you guys are like dreaming about, of trying to, you know, like be a part of one of those moments, create one of those memories, right? Because it's just like, this is the stage where all eyes are on you from everywhere. You know, it's not just North American fans, it's fans from all around the world are watching. And that's one of those opportunities that I think is so cool about it.
I think it's really cool. And, you know, I think more than the kind of memories, I just think that I don't want to be like embarrassed in myself. And just like, if you're like being at LCS and you just did well and you just go to World and you just show the like World's performance at there, I think it's going to be so embarrassed. So I really don't want to show like LC, like then everyone will think about, oh, LCS is so weak, you know. I don't want to show up like that, you know. That's more like my prioritize as first one right now.
I mean, like Bwipo was saying, just showing off your picks, showing off like what you're good at is also like a really big thing for me. Just like my Riven, my Jax, or like these champions that I'm known for, you know? Like having other top laners really just like get or like be surprised about what I'm gonna do to them in lane phase is gonna be like a very big thing for me for sure.
That's cool. I think it's interesting, you know, to touch back on what you were talking about being able to like represent LCS well, and, you know, how do you guys reflect on that? Like, you know, because it's interesting, right? Where it's like you have these big accomplishments within the LCS, but then if LCS goes internationally and does poorly, people are like, ah, well, that was just in the LCS.
Yeah.
You know, so like, is that something that, you know, is important for you guys as well? Because I think it's interesting that MT was talking about that.
I value it a lot. I mean, like, I played in Europe, people loved me because when I played regionally and then went international, like, they could trust me to play well individually, and my team was to be trusted. And I think that bond of trust where people can always get excited for you is what makes, it really is what makes a brand as a team, like as an organization, the bond of trust between the org and the fans of the org, where when you represent your region as that organization, that the fans have something to get excited about. And I think that this is one of the reasons why, like, I wanted to come to LCS, because now with FlyQuest, we had a terrible MSI. We had a decent showing at EWC, almost took a best of 3 off G2, which is decent. That, in my opinion, like, this Worlds is, in my opinion, like, it's really important to build that trust and make FlyQuest an org where when we go internationally, people have something to look forward to.
Yeah, I agree with what Bwipo was saying as well. Like, just not really being the face of your organization, but kind of just like, just having your name out there so your organization can also grow, you know, as much as like your own self as well. So I definitely agree with that too. I like that statement.
Does it feel weird for you that you're representing North America, you know, for you, that it's like, you've obviously played in LCK, you played in Korea, you know, you're going to Worlds as an LCS team, you know, as a North American team. Like, is that strange for you at all, you know, playing against LCK teams? Or you're like, I don't care, I'm playing for Team Liquid and I want Team Liquid to do well?
I think that's the thing. I just want Team Liquid to play well. And not even Team Liquid. I actually think I want FlyQuest and 100 Thieves play well for like our just region for LCS. Because what I really hate to hear recently is like at the spring when I win the LCS was like a lot of people were saying that, wow, UmTI was like shit at the LCK. He just go LCS. He just instantly got the first. I think we just got to level up a lot, but they thought we were just shit. I was so sad to hear that. And summer, I heard that Quad is winning. I actually think that must be celebrated a lot because he leveled up. But everyone, like not everyone, some of the people are thinking that, oh, LCS is shit region. UmTI and Quad just go there and just win. I'm like so sad to hear that, you know. Like, because these guys are trying so hard, and I saw like everyone is thinking that LCS is like just like lazy people or something, but I just think that I just hear and realize these guys are not that lazy and trying hard, and I don't want LCS to be like that. painful, I would say. Everyone is feeling very sad emotion for that, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think it's not a fair characterization. And like you say, it's like we were talking about this earlier, you know, where the idea that the same player on a different team in a different scenario can have a completely different result, right? You know, so just because you're not having the level of performance that you want in one league, you can go somewhere else and be in a situation where you're set up better for success, or you're improving faster, and you're able to kind of reach those accomplishments that you're talking about.
I mean, doesn't that just show how like strong Korea is? Just because you have a player like Quad or even UmTI that were like, I don't mean to flame or anything, but you guys were like the bottom of your teams or your tiers, at least during the time. And now you guys are like the best in the LCS, you know, like that just says how good Korea is. And that's like one of the reasons why I respect Korea a lot as well.
Are there, you know, is this something, you know, you talk about obviously really wanting to do well for Team Liquid and for the LCS, but does it make it feel more important to get some of those wins against the Korean teams then? You know, Team Liquid obviously twice this year was really close to taking down T1, who is the LCK, right?
Yeah.
Like historically, it's like that is the team. So does that become more important where it's like, hey, if you go to Worlds, T1 hasn't even made it yet, but if they do and you were able to beat them, people can't be like, oh, well, UmTI's just winning because he's in the LCS. Well, no, I just beat T1, or no, I just beat Genji, or I just beat, you know, HLE, right? You know, does that make it really, really important for you to get those kind of wins to kind of disprove all those people?
I'm actually valuing it. I actually value it because I didn't actually value it at the spring, but after win and I hear that kind of thing, I valued it. And when I go to MSI, I realized that we are competitive with T1. And at the EWC, I messed up, but I actually thought, this is actually so close. I'm gonna, like, now I have a like revenge emotion, I would say.
Yeah.
I really want to revenge them, you know. Like at the Worlds, I hopefully T1 come, and I hopefully can revenge them, you know. Like, if T1 not coming, anyone is fine. Genji, Hana, everyone, DK or something.
Yeah.
I really want to revenge, you know. KT, Pyoshik, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really cool to hear, because I think that that's something that a lot of North American fans will love, right? Because people want people who are imports to come here and like actually care about the region, right? You know, and they want people who are invested in it. Very clearly you are, and you're invested in the success of the team, invested in the success of the region. Do you kind of feel similarly like coming over to LCS? Because there is that reputation and that negative stigma of like, oh, you know, you just come here to be a paycheck stealer, or like, you know, this kind of like, you know, thing about imports where it's like, they're just here to make a quick buck and then they're gonna go retire or do whatever, right? You know, it's like, but that is kind of like washing away all of your guys' hard work and the accomplishments that you have while you're here.
I mean, it's understandable. I do have to say, like, the fans got burnt a lot. Like I mentioned, I think a lot of the time when they sent their favorite orgs, the trust wasn't, like, the trust was there, but the results weren't. Like, I really feel that way. So from their perspective, I understand why they feel this way, because that was the story of a lot of LCS teams for a very long time. At least, you know, I would show up to 2018 Worlds, 2019 Worlds, 2020, I'd be like, yeah, it's an A. Like, it's a free, you know? It's free, you know? It's too free, you know? And that's because I felt like those players, like, they weren't pursuing greatness, you know? Like, they
not looking too free for Fnatic this year against LCS.
Oh no, I agree. It's a great
memory,
I think it's a fantastic way. Thank you for the alley-oop.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic way to slam dunk the point that players like Core and Impact are pursuing greatness in an A.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'd like to say me and Inspired come from Europe, and we're pursuing greatness in an A. We're trying to be great from America so that we can make the LCS a bigger, like, a better place. And America is all about immigration, you know? Like, this is the country of immigration. So I think it's a beautiful story, and I'd love to be able to spearhead a lot of great performances at Worlds. But at its heart for me, same thing with MSI. I want Masu, Busio, and Quad to take the most home that they can, because an international event like this, the really funny thing is the more you remove stress factors and everything around the game that makes you think it's really hard, the easier it gets to play a really hard game. And I think that the presence of mind to understand you just need to do your job well and not worry about everyone else, because the second you start worrying about everyone else in an international tournament, it's lost, because individually it's so much harder to keep up with mechanics, decision making, because they're so much sharper than the average player you play against back home, especially the tier 1 pros. Like, this is the difference. It's not that they make better decisions on average, it's that they're so much faster at coming to the same conclusion. So if you need 1 or 2 ways ahead of time to start thinking about it, and they already know, you're behind, and you realize, oh damn, he is priority now for grubs, or whatever it may be. And kind of teaching people that the difference isn't that big, tying into UmTI's point, where you may have been 7th place, 8th place in LCK, but I went from 7th place in LCL, Russian League, to European champion, and then top 2 at Worlds.
Yeah, Worlds Finals.
And am I really going to say that in that 1 year I grew so much as an individual player? No, I was always quite good. I just didn't know how to separate what I need to do and what my champion needs to accomplish for my team to succeed to all the emotions of like, oh, like I did this and it didn't work. And then you watch VODs of like an LCK pro and he's doing that and you're like, I can do that, but when I do it, it doesn't kill the Nexus, so what's wrong? That stress and kind of all that baggage, you need to throw it out. Like you need to just throw it away. My best advice I can give you, just play your own game. Your teammates are struggling in scrims, they're going to struggle. You're going to be playing against HLE, for example. Trust me, Doran's not the best player on that team.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
You might be playing against Genji, and you might be getting your shit kicked in by Keen.
Yeah.
Your mid laner is going to get their shit kicked in way harder than you are. Trust me. And my point is the second you start thinking that whatever happens mid lane affects your decision making, what you need to accomplish in the game, you're going down a slippery slope.
Definitely.
You're not coming back. But if you just stay on your lane, you tell your teammates what you can do, how you can do it, you focus on yourself, that's when you can show up the Worlds and show people like, this is what I'm made of. And that was really how Fnatic was really successful, I think, where everyone could shut out and just focus on themselves and just trust like, he'll figure it out.
Yeah. Just having the presence of mind, to like just being able to do that and kind of just focusing on your own gameplay rather than like your teammates' or just anybody else's is very important. And I feel like that's something I also like kind of struggled in going into the match against you guys, where like I was just thinking about the crowd, the fans. I wasn't really thinking about my own gameplay,
Exactly.
Then I was like, oh, like my teammates are going to play bad. I need to like hype them up. I need to make sure they're all doing good and everything,
Exactly.
But then I lost focus on my own gameplay.
Exactly. And you need to have that trust. They'll find a way. Like I'm going to find my way. They'll find their way. And then when you meet, that's when you're a team. And
yeah, exactly.
I think TL showed a really good example of this. They played really close series against T1. They were top 4 in both international events, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Top 4, I believe, which is really impressive. Like super well played by you guys, and it just goes to show that the difference between excellent League of Legends gameplay and the LCS and like whatever it may be, like the perception that it's lower, like easier to win or whatever. It isn't that way. It really is just a matter of being able to focus on your own gameplay as all 5 individuals and making that a unit, making that a whole. And I'm excited for the LCS. I really am. I mentioned it briefly before, but I feel like I'm like the 4th or 5th best player on my team, And I'm super excited for FlyQuest because of that, because I feel like all my teammates individually make way fewer mistakes than I do when it comes to early game. And I know that when you have a strong early game as a team, from my experience with Fnatic, that connecting around team fights and where you fight, how you fight, is so much easier than like the impossibility of trying to fix a laning phase for a player against the best players in the world. It's like it's impossible because it's just everything is wrong. Like your trades are wrong, your roam timers are wrong, your war timers are wrong. You're getting punished on everything you do, and it's just like it's impossible to fix.
Yeah. Wait, why? Isn't it just like you against yourself?
Because it's like because the thing is that they're like
sometimes it's you against Bin.
Yeah, that is a pretty good point.
Exactly. I was playing. Oh my god! In 2020, I was playing against Bin Jax. He took me out. Like Bin Jax, I couldn't play. Other matchups, I could play with Bin Jax.
Like that guy takes everyone out from all the stories.
Yeah, especially on Jax as well.
It took
like apparently it's just the best Jax in the world or something.
Oh, like it's not even close. This guy's Jax.
What about TL played? Isn't TL played Jax like better than his? Yo, chill, bro. Chill. I swear it's like pretty good. No. Whenever I played against it?
I mean, he's cheesing. Like, he cheeses with Jax. Like, he uses, like, Ignite and stuff. This guy just lanes straight up, fair and square, TP Jax, good old-fashioned, never f***s up his wave, never gives you any advantage, never lets you do anything. Like, and again, if I really put in effort to really dig deep into the Jax matchup, I'm sure I could find something. But my point is the fact that I had to dig that deep to even feel like I could win, it made me just go like, I'm banning this shit. If we play these guys, I'm banning this shit.
Yeah, you're just gonna ban it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I mean is like, as an individual player, like, you'll feel it. Trust me, you'll feel it.
Yeah,
don't worry,
when
bro.
I play against these guys,
you're gonna play against this guy, and you're gonna play a matchup, and you're gonna be like, at some point, you're gonna be like, it's gonna be the 4th time you play the matchup in a day, and you're just gonna sit there like,
I'm just ban it, guys. Just ban it in scrims. I really don't want to play against.
You just take a moment. That's the thing. Like, that's where your character shows. You'll either sit down and review it, or you'll ban it.
So this is something that's really interesting, and a lot of times, players that I talk to who go international from EU, from NA, talk about one of the hardest things is being able to just like mentally stay even keel, when you're scrimming against players and you're scrimming against the very, very best teams in the whole world, because sometimes you're going to get blasted, right? And to be able to actually work through that and stay, mentally positive, be able to stay, kind of constructive in your criticism and be able to actually learn and improve is really, really hard. That's one of the things that people talk about is that mental challenge. Like, how is that for you at MSI?
Yeah, but like different thing for me is like I work at the LCK for 7 years and I was at the bottom teams a lot, and I actually have a record for like scrims for like I lose the whole scrim for 7 days.
Yeah.
Like 0.36 was it? Like 0.40?
For 7 days in a row?
Yes, I lost every scrims.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that is actually the toughest moment in my life.
Well, that sounds like us.
Or at MSI?
It was LCK.
Okay.
At the MSI, I think I even lose like, was it like 8 streak or 9 streak?
Yeah.
Not core and impact was not struggling.
Yeah.
And like I was not struggling because I lose like 0.40 or something.
Oh yeah.
So then like when I saw an APA and Jan was a little bit like stressed or something, and like, well, we can pull them out, So that's why I think we are not stressed about a lot at the international especially at the scrims.
Yeah.
But I think we were caring about like a lot of performance. And I remember Spawn was really stressed about our lane swap at the MSI because our lane swap was trash at the start.
Yeah.
And we realized, wait, we can get enemy homework. And we scrim against BLG and like TS, and we were like, this is our homework now.
Yeah.
And we preparing to LCS. Now we're hearing that, okay, now we adapted,
It paid off, like you guys are a really good lane swap team now, so like that's a lot of props to you guys.
Yeah, I think good adapting from that. Like you can learn from the losing games more than winning games. If you have a good mindset to learning, I think losing is more better if you're not losing like 0.40.
Yeah.
Did you learn? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Did you learn anything when you were losing like every single game, or were you just like stressed the entire time? That's why you kept on losing.
You mean the LCK or the MSI one?
The LCK one. 'Cause I learned a lot.
I think the LCK one we learned a lot, but when we are learning at there was a point that we are being frustrated. Is like I think that's the connected from the Bwipo's like laning page. Like the laning page makes the impossibility at the team fight too, like very hard, and that is being like, oh, we cannot review this game.
Okay.
Then we are being very stressed, That time is the being very stressed. Now we don't have anything to review. Then we are actually feeling very depressed,
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
That moment is the important moment, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
That is the weird moment.
Yeah. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this something that you guys have talked about maybe on 100 Thieves, or have you talked to like other people who have gone to Worlds and kind of, thinking about like how you guys would deal with this? Obviously you have a little bit of warm-up time, maybe, playing some lower skill teams in play-ins, but there's also going to be all these like big dogs that are kind of waiting. If you do get through play-ins, all of a sudden it's like, out of the pot and into the fire kind of thing.
I mean, everything we do as a team is just like a learning experience. Whenever we lose or even if we win, like we're all just like reviewing our own POVs and everything. And yeah, I mean, we're just gonna go in there. Whatever happens, happens. We're just gonna try and learn as much as possible. And yeah, we're not really thinking about like any of that right now. We're just taking it one step at a time, one day at a time.
How hopeful are you guys feeling overall just for LCS this year? Because I feel like the hope is starting to kind of build among NA fans. You guys have had a lot of good results, it feels like. You're beating Europe, and that's the main thing that NA fans want. As long as you're beating Europe, you're going to have a lot of fans here in North America, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But people are also getting really hopeful, seeing, close series against T1, multiple times from you guys, thinking that, is this NA on the precipice of a big event? Like, are you guys kind of feeling that as well?
Yeah, I think we are actually think that we are like, let's say hope.
Yeah.
I think we are feeling hope that we can beat someone, especially Eastern team too. And now we think Fnatic is easy. So I still think G2 is very good.
Yeah.
So we should be competitive with that. But then we want to beat the Eastern team and show up that we can do something, and make our fans happy. Yeah. And I think this is not only our team.
Yeah.
I think a lot of players are improving a lot, and FlyQuest is a good team too. And I think the 100 Thieves come up with beating the C9 is actually a big improvement from the NA, I would say. So I think it's going to be so fun.
How are you feeling, Bwipo? Because obviously MSI did not go at all how you guys wanted.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it was the first time an NA team got knocked out in play-ins.
PSG was pretty good, I'll say. Like, PSG is still pretty good. They
PSG
play a
is a
5-game
very good
series.
team.
They played a 5-game series against BLG. That event, like
It was no flame, no flame.
By the way,
Everyone else blames us, though.
by the way, PSG is a really good team, by the way. This one I agree. And I remember the whole time Impact is sometimes compared to me as a Junjia.
Yeah.
And he's saying, Junjia is so good, UmTI, what are you doing? you have to follow him. Or like sometimes I say, I want to rest. Where's Junjia? And I'm like,
Oh, he's in a solo queue right now.
Okay, I will watch that for you, Dylan.
PSG is good. It's interesting because they have these really high-level performances. I mean, like MSI this year, but then other times they're getting chain knocked out of play-in. So it does seem to like vary. But this year, also, I was watching a lot of PSG VODs this week. They're looking strong, and from talking to a lot of the people in PCS, they think they're even stronger in summer than they were in spring. So, how are you feeling about going into play-ins and your guys' chances? You guys have, do you know your bracket? You have LLA first. I don't know if you. I'll read it out.
Oh yeah, I've
Okay,
actually
so you
have
have.
no idea,
So
to be
this is, if you guys don't know the bracket, this is the play-ins bracket. So 100 Thieves is going to play against Rainbow 7 from LATAM, and then on their side of the bracket is GAM, and then SHG, which is the team that lost to PCS in the finals, lost to PSG in the finals. So I do think, I've got to say, you got about as good of a bracket as you could get, because
sure.
PSG and MAD are both on the other side, which are probably like the other top 3 teams.
I could see Matt going home.
Yeah, I could see Matt going home, but four teams will qualify from here.
Oh,
Even if they lose to PSG,
Yeah.
they would have to lose twice. But Matt has got knocked out of play-ins what, like 2-3 times
Oh my
now?
gosh.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty bad.
kind of crazy.
I mean, I'm grateful that we started in the Swiss. Let's put it that way. I didn't want to walk into PSG again if I could avoid it. That said, I'm super excited, man. I think one of the big reasons our performance was bad is because I wasn't there to support my team and my rookies, because I think I was so stressed from it being my first international event in such a while, and like, in a way, I don't know, like the last international event that I didn't make it out of the first round was 2021, and I think everyone can agree that that was a bit of a disaster, all things considered. 2018 made it to finals. Even that MSI, I made it top 4. 2019, make it to quarters. 2020, make it to quarters. I played the semis, you know? Well, no, I played the quarters. Yeah, that was quarters, not the semis. I almost made semis.
Yeah.
Got reverse swept. Shit.
Oh shoot.
Close.
That's unfortunate.
And my point is like, when I think back to all that, I was just like, that pressure of like being that guy that like is a part of a team that like always shows up internationally. It made me so much more stressed. And I feel like I let my rookies down because I was putting pressure on them when I really should have been the relief. You know, I should have been there like, guys, you guys are really close. You're doing a really good job. Like, let's keep it up. Like, you know, the guy that's like motivating people to keep focusing what they can do, and that being enough.
You have to find their Junjia.
We're finding you, Junjia.
Maybe, you know, maybe, yeah, maybe. Like, maybe it's a good way to do it. Honestly, I'll have to think about it. But
What's Gary
really,
doing right now?
I just wasn't there for them. I wasn't there for my mid jungle either, and like I feel like I'm in a much better position to be there for my boys.
Yeah.
You know, like really take care of Masu and Alan and Quad especially. Make them realize they're a lot closer than they think they are, because that's the reality. Like, my best performances with Worlds is when I put on the shutters and I just looked at my game plan and I played exactly like how I'd play in a solo queue game. I remember I played against Khan, and I played the first game against him and then the second game against him. And the first game I played against Akali versus Gangplank, and it's like a really free matchup, and I just didn't do anything. I just farmed. I didn't fight at all. And I was just so upset because we lost. And this is where week 1 Fnatic, week 2 Fnatic, for anyone that remembers those memes. This is where week 2 Fnatic was like a big deal. Like, everyone would like come together and they would just get mad at each other. We just get mad. It's like, why are you playing like this? You never scrim like this. Like, when you scrim, when you play other games back at home.
This was the 0-4 start week?
Not the 0-4. That was 2017.
Yeah, okay.
okay.
So I never had a 0-4, unfortunately.
Holy crap.
We had 0-3s though, and that was one of the 0-3s, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this was when we had the SKT RNG group.
Easy.
We knocked out RNG.
Hey, there you go.
And that week 2 day, like all of us, like I felt it, you know, like all of us were there to play our own game.
Yeah.
And I just showed up as Gangplank. I flashed on the guy's head level 2, and I had no mercy. I just fought him to the death every level. Every chance I got, I would just fight him, no mercy. Jungler ganks me, honor him, I don't care. And just play my own game, because that's always how I played. And that for me was like a moment in my career where I realized, like, if you want to show up internationally, it's about you being yourself and being the best player you can be, right? And stop worrying about what everyone else is doing. Stop worrying what everyone else is picking, what everyone else is drafting, anything. Just shutters on, just you and your champion, play it well. I can tell you this much, I didn't even know in the game, like if you were to ask me in that moment, like who I'm playing against, I wouldn't even
Nameplates off.
Holy
I think,
crap.
is actually so
100%.
important.
Nameplates off.
You're
I
playing
didn't
against a
care who I was
champion. You're
playing
not playing against a person. And I feel like people sometimes psych themselves out. It's like, this is a good play to do, so you should do it, versus, oh, it's Chovy, so like it won't work. You know what I mean? Because I think if you get into that mindset where you're just like giving everything up, players are already doomed.
Like
Exactly,
slowly
mentally
losing
they're-
then.
Yeah, exactly. You're playing not to lose instead of playing to win, right? Where it's like, and as soon as you get in that mindset, you're screwed. So you know your bracket. You're the only one who knows, what the teams you're actually been playing against.
Yes, sir. Yes,
How
sir.
are,
Yes,
how
sir.
are you
Oh, it's gonna be
feeling?
so
How are you feeling about plans? Are you feeling like, oh, this is gonna be easy? Are you thinking, oh God, like what if I get knocked out? Like what's the mindset?
I mean, I'm just gonna say we already scrimmed against R7. We already scrimmed against Summit's team, and I was doing some things to that guy. I'm just gonna put that out there, okay?
I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely not worried about his team.
Okay.
And the team after that. Like, if we somehow lose plans, like I'm actually gonna retire. I'm actually gonna retire from League of
Don't go,
Legends.
bro.
I'm
Where
not.
you go? You're the.
Bro, 17 years
don't
old,
say
I'm
that.
gone. I swear, like.
What do you
no
mean
freaking
then?
joke. No, like, there's no way we would.
You are very good looking. Where are you going, man?
I mean-
what I just talked about the NA Hope and you just ran away. What?
No, but okay, like I really felt like when we scrimmed against R7, they just like weren't good at all. Especially, well, they had a sub jungler to be fair, so maybe that's probably why. But I really do feel like we have a good chance against both of these teams.
Yep. So you're feeling really confident.
Exactly.
What is success for you then at Worlds? Is success making the Swiss stage? Is success taking down an opponent that you really respect? Like what is it that you're trying to accomplish here? Because you're 17, it's your rookie year. You made it to Worlds, which obviously is really cool, and it's something that you talked about your brother hadn't been able to accomplish. And I saw him tweeting about how happy he was for you that you made it, and this was a big goal for him, but he wasn't able to do it, and you're able to do it. Like, is it already mission accomplished, or like what would be a successful Worlds for you?
I mean, it's definitely not mission accomplished because I didn't have like the greatest split, and I really want to like just prove myself wrong mentally that like I am a good top laner and that I can like compete against these international top laners. So yeah, just going in there and at least taking a game off of like the really good teams would be a success for me going into this Worlds for sure.
What about you, UmTI? Because obviously it seems like TL has already had some success against some of these international teams this year. What is success for you? Is it making quarters? Is it making semis? Is it okay if we take down an LPL or LCK team, all good?
I can say one word: revenge. Revenge to someone. I hope they just come up, please. Yes. I really hope they come and we have a revenge chance to do that. Yeah.
What if they don't make it?
Well, I have to find another target.
That's hilarious.
Well,
So
Who's the target? Who's the target
Yeah,
that
is
you'll
it-
choose?
you want to choose it?
Anyone, KT, or KT didn't make it.
Is that what it's more about though? Like just being able to prove yourself against a really good LCK team? Or is it more about like, who cares who I beat? I just want to get far.
So I think more than like being far or something, it's gonna be really happy to being like, let's say being far and just go for finals.
Yeah.
But I actually wanna like, I think as I said, I wanna show up to the like LCS fans that we can actually competitive with the LCK and the LPL team, and we really wanna give you guys hope, and I want my fans happy. That's
I'm liking what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
That's good. How about you, Bwipo? What's success for FlyQuest?
I mean, definitely making quarters, making it to the knockout stage, like playing best of fives. I think that's success for FlyQuest. I think in general, for me personally, that is the standard I've set over the course of my career, every Worlds I've played. And I want to keep that standard. And for me, obviously, it's hard to say that that's going to happen, but I feel like I've found my stride in LCS. And it's the first split I played where I walked off, at the end of the split, and I feel like, yeah, that was me. Like sometimes some int, some pog, bit of both. It's just me. And I feel like now that I'm going to Worlds, I can bring that energy to my team. And I think that's honestly like a big part of the culture that made our team successful, is like joy and just being happy to be there and making the most out of the opportunity. Because I think that that's the hardest part, is to, on a day-to-day basis, make decisions that make you feel like I'm worthy of being one of the best in the world. Like, this is me pursuing greatness. And identifying what that looks like for every individual player is really hard. But I'm trying to teach everyone like how to find their own way to do that, so that they can go on stage and they walk off knowing like that was me. Like I played that game. And I think that's what leads to winning. I think that pride, like, that hunger, you know, is like, I want everyone to watch me play my game. And I want everyone to watch my team succeed. And I'm a part of that success. I think that's culture you want to grow. Like, that's what you want to be.
If you can encapsulate it, how does someone achieve that then? Like how, you know, if you give that advice to these guys, you know, it's first Worlds for both these players.
Yeah.
How would you say they, like, because it sounds simple. It's like, just play like yourself, just play your game,
Yeah.
you know, like, but obviously it is more complicated than that.
I think it's having that faith, that trust that it's the same game. Like Sniper mentions, like he wants to play against the best in the world and he wants to beat Asian players and all this stuff. And I'm sitting here, like, for example, I laughed at him for mentioning Doran, you know?
Yeah.
And that's because, like, I have a history of, you know, if you're not top 2 LCK or LPL, you'd lose to me, you know? Those guys would walk on stage and they'd get sent home by me. Like, they would play a group stage against me, and RNG, for example, had LangX in 2019. No one even remembers the name, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the point. It's like, no one remembers that name. EDG had Ray. No one remembers that, really. I remember that because I played against them. But my point is like, I think you can aim higher. Because
Yeah.
you played against me and you beat me. You solo killed me. If you can solo kill me, trust me, you can solo kill those guys. Like, it's possible. And it's that simplicity. It's that simplicity where you making the right decisions and really focusing on that specifically. It's like, you know what is right. You've played so many games on Jax, on Riven, whatever it is that you're good at. You know what is right. Don't let yourself like get thrown off because you did the right thing and then in scrims you lost anyway. And then a lot of people get lost right there.
Of course.
Is because the result of the game or the result of the outcome of everything that happened went poorly. They think that the mistake lies in what you were doing.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're doing the right thing and the result just isn't what you want it to be.
Exactly.
And being able to discern the difference between right decisions and wrong decisions is the hard part. Obviously, that I can't specifically say that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, trust your gut, you know?
Okay.
A gold lead is a gold lead. An experienced lead is an experienced lead. And if you have to make your jungler lose one camp and he's mad at you or whatever, you need to tell him, like, you need to sit him down and be like, bro, I get it. You're playing against really good players and it's really stressful. But if you do this for me, I'm going to be in a good spot. First grubs, second grubs, whatever it is that you know that you're going to spike, because you know that. That's when you tell him, that's when I'm going to show up and I'm going to carry the game for you. But I need you to trust me that you give me this timer, and you can't not give me this timer.
Yeah.
So for me, for example, it was a push-out timer. I was always playing Gangplank or Ornn, and these matchups are quite tough usually.
Yeah. You got to be vocal about them to your jungler
Exactly.
and stuff.
So I just tell Selfman, it's like, bro, I get it. Like, you were playing like Evelyn, Hecarim, all these carry junglers. Our solution was he would just share the wave with me. I just tell him, no problem. Just come to my wave and don't even gank. Don't waste your time. Just walk up, farm the wave with me. Exactly.
You can
That's
have
what
my
I
cannon
did.
for a gank.
Exactly. And I didn't even ask for a gank anymore. I just asked for a push out. And every single game, he'd show up to my lane and he'd just push out the wave with me when it was necessary.
Yeah.
Obviously, I had the presence of mind to call him like, hey, I need it right now, or no, I don't. And he would just be doing his gromp, and I'd just call him like, all right. And then he'd do gromp, show up top, yoink. Sometimes even 2 waves. That's the thing.
Oh my
When
gosh,
things went
for the
wrong,
crowd.
I would just share 2 waves with him because it's just, the matter was just, it didn't matter how much experience or whatever, like, as long as I was in a good spot, I knew my champ was going to perform and I knew something good was going to happen. And pursuing that outcome where you show up with your Riven on your 2 items,
Yeah.
I know Sniper is going to kill people with
Exactly.
2 items on Riven. And that's why I'm sad I didn't get to see you play Riven. I felt like Ivern Riven into Cassandra would have been a really good draft for
I
you
was actually
guys.
thinking about that. The Iron Riven against Cassandra.
I think it would have been really good for you guys, and I
Yeah.
would have been scared. Like, you know, I actually told my team, let's ban Nasus, and I'm not playing a top lane because if he plays Riven into me, I don't know what'll happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm serious. I didn't want that to happen because I felt like if Sniper shows up with 2 items, I don't know if my carries will know better. I mean, I know for a fact that they don't know as well as Sniper knows.
Yeah.
That he's going to one-tap him. And trust me, when you walk up to Chovy, like, you might surprise him.
Yeah.
But maybe not Chovy. To be fair, maybe not Chovy. That guy's built different.
When you walk up to Doran.
Yeah, Doran or anyone else.
Just you know, maybe Zeka. Like, he seems like a guy that might get surprised. And that moment is going to, like, that's your moment to etch yourself into history, you know? And
Gotcha.
that's just your history, and that's the beauty of Worlds.
Of course. Yeah.
So,
Oh, very well said, by the way. Like,
yeah, well said. 14-18 just came out, and that, you know, like, Worlds patch obviously, you know, is coming up. This is something that a lot of people have been talking about, you know, ADC meta all year long, and now people are like, okay, ADCs are dead, you know, and
Yeah.
like, get them out of there. You know, Riot wanted to make sure for Worlds that it wasn't going to be ADC meta. Are you guys happy about that? Are you sad about that? Because one of the things that's a bit weird is it's like when it comes this late in the year, when that's been the meta for the whole year, that's what you guys have been tested on, and that's what you guys were good at. That's why you got to go to Worlds. You know, especially for TL, do you think that's a concern for you guys? Like, oh, are you happy about the changes? Are you like, oh crap, we played through side lanes with Corky and Trist all year. Like, what are we gonna do?
So first thing, I don't mind about middling picks because I think AP was actually, I will say he was a very good mage user.
Yeah.
So I think I don't worry about it. But what I worry was like, now Yon's champion is being weaker and weaker because of the mid laner ADCs. So probably I would think that maybe Yon have to change his champion pool. I just said that pro players have to be ready to change. So maybe Yon have to be ready to change to the Seraphine again or like Jinx again.
Yeah.
That kind of picks, because I feel like that kind of picks is more stronger than like usual ADCs right now.
It's interesting because I think one of the hardest things, like people sometimes talk about, you say as a pro player you have to be ready to change a different pick, right? And sometimes, a top laner might be ready to bring out a Fiora, but that changes how your entire team has to play the game, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes that can be the bigger difficulty. Like, is that something that, you're concerned about as far as like even just like playing out the games? If you're talking about, oh, APA is going to play a mage and our bot laner is going to play like Seraphine or Ziggs or whatever, then the way that you have to play out fights is completely different too.
Yeah, I think that kind of thing is what I said, because someone who is changing is gonna give the very big idea, like the very biggest idea, he's gonna give it to teammates. So teammates have to be adapted at that. So I think that's why I'm saying that the player have to be ready, because if this player is ready, he's gonna give the biggest idea to every teammates. Then they're gonna just understand and just play it.
Yeah.
That's why I think this is.
Yeah.
Are you excited for the patch? Not excited for the patch?
I mean, I'm definitely very excited for the Worlds patch for sure. And on the ADC thingy that we were just talking about, I mean, we have Tomo, bro. This guy can like play whatever, still look good on it, Like he's subbed in for us, and
Stepping up his boys over there.
yeah, he's actually over there, wherever the camera is gonna be. So I definitely have full faith in Tomo and adapting to whatever meta he's gonna be playing in. So I'm not worried about it at all, I'm just chilling.
What about yourself? What if you have to bust out the tanks?
Well, the tanks.
Not Cassante, that one doesn't count.
Oh, okay, Cassante doesn't count. Fair enough.
Ornn, Sion.
Gragas.
What happens with Sniper when this is what we're playing?
Okay, I definitely have to adapt to it, and I'll do my absolute best to just like get really good on these champions, no matter how many solo queue games it takes, or VODs or whatever. I'll try my best
Well, my
to
advice,
get there, Play what I'm good at.
Pick one or two.
Oh, okay.
Commit to learning one or two, play them in the matchups, and then stick to what you're good at.
Got you, okay. 1 and 2 champions.
How much
That's the
do you
advice.
guys play, do you play tanks in solo queue or you play tanks in solo queue? Because I always find it funny, like sometimes I'll talk to pro players and I'm like, oh, like do you practice, it's like Maokai top is meta or whatever. I'm like, oh, do you practice? They're like, I don't need to practice that. Like the mechanics are so easy. It's like, yeah, you can press Q, but I always think that there's so much knowledge that is required to be really good on tanks and on those, because you have to know, when should I engage? When do I actually have damage to pressure this person? When can I kill them? Should I be peeling? Should I be diving? Should I be waiting to counter engage? Like knowing these moments. And then especially if you're playing an engage champ, there's so much pressure on do we win this fight? So now you have to understand more than just your spot. You have to understand the whole spot of the game because you're not just following up.
Of course.
So it's I always find it interesting because I think that knowledge requires an immense amount of repetition to learn it. But at the same time, a lot of pros I talk to are like, I don't need to practice tanks. I just play Jace every game, top lane or whatever. Do you actually put time in on tanks and stuff, or is that more, when you're playing solo queue, or you're just playing carries?
I think I put times a lot of tanks.
Yeah.
Because like my solo queue, you can check it, but there's a lot of Ivans there.
Yeah. I believe you. I don't need to check.
I played it as well.
Yeah, I think that the scrims I practice Zvani, Maokai, and Rel a lot, and now these days I'm playing at the scrims 70% of that. So
Oh my gosh.
I actually don't have to play at the solo queue. Like compared to that thing, if I playing at the scrims a lot of champion, then I don't play at solo queue. But if I'm not playing at the scrims, then I have to prepare, even though it's not a fun champion, or if I think that's a useless practice. But I don't think there's a lot of useless practice, so I just practice it. So that's why I just play at the solo queue. Yeah.
What do you think, Sniper? How do you reflect on that? Because obviously it's your reputation is as, oh, this guy's really good at laning, he's really good at carries, but can't play tanks, or he doesn't know how to play the map as well, or whatever. Do you think that you can play tanks well? Do you think that you need to put in more time? What is it that you think you're maybe missing that would make you more successful on a tank? I'm kind of interested to hear your perspective.
I think just with time, playing a bunch of solo queue or just watching a lot of VODs on these certain champions like Ornn or Sion or whoever it is, I'll definitely learn fast and pick up what the champion's good at. But if I'm already playing it a lot in scrims, then like UmTI was saying, I don't really need to play in solo queue, So just it just comes with time and preparation, I guess. How many solo queue games I'm willing to put on this champion.
That makes sense.
That's kind of what it is for me.
To shift gears a little bit, I'm kind of curious. You can go back to you, Bwipo. What do you think is going to be like your team's greatest strength or greatest struggle at Worlds?
That's a good one. I think our greatest strength will be inspired. I think playing around jungle and making sure, like being a well-balanced team that doesn't need to play around any specific lane, and having our jungler be our strongest point and kind of letting him play the pace of the game the way he wants to around the lane that he thinks is best suited for us. I think that's definitely going to be our biggest strength, because I think that for me personally, my biggest strength is that I'm exceptionally good at connecting with my teammates. So even if you don't include me, I'm coming, you know?
Fact.
Like you don't have to spend any effort to call me to get in there. I'm always going to participate one way or another.
Yeah.
And in a way, like, sometimes that's actually just me being on the polar opposite side of the map. You saw me do this a lot against 100 Thieves, because 100 Thieves likes to overcommit with multiple people on the same play, and I would just be taking snipers tier 1 or tier 2 and like, chopping it down Minecraft style, getting nice and fed, and then I show up. And I think that's like including yourself in a play goes both ways. Either you're doing something else on the opposite side of the map, or you're doing something there with your team at the same time. And I think that having inspired move around and then me doing that, I think is going to be our biggest strength as a team. And I think our biggest weakness, I'm not sure, honestly. I think it might still be me. I think I have a lot of faith in my team. You mentioned mages. I've heard the entire split from Nukeduck that Quad is by far and away the best on mages, and that mages is his MO, and he hasn't gotten to play any. Like his Syndra is insane, I hear. His Orianna was really good. I got to see his Orianna. I didn't get to see Syndra, didn't get to see much of his Cassio. A lot of people started banning it. And my point is I'm excited to watch him play mages, because that's really exciting. So our biggest weakness, I think it'll still be me. I think that when, like in general, our biggest strength is also our big weakness is when I don't get the game going. I think we tend to be a little, dare I say, vegan.
How about you, UmTI? What do you think? Biggest like strength or biggest thing that you think will do good things for TL at Worlds, and maybe what your biggest struggle could be?
So I think biggest strength is trust.
Yeah.
Is our team, and biggest weakness is strength. So trust too. I think since our like trust is up, we are the best team. It feels like, and there is a case that we do scrims or like some kind of moments happen, and our trust go down each other, and we just didn't realize our trust is going down. And like after we find out that our scrim is shit, and like we figured out why our scrim is shit. I think we don't have trust, guys, and we have to build it again. I think that kind of moments.
So how do you combat that then? If that's something that you're kind of flagging as like, this could make us do poorly at Worlds, how do you kind of like stop it from happening before it does?
I think the actually stopping is not that easy. That's the like person, human thing. Because if you do bad, or like if you just do the bad attitude, then you're gonna be like losing the like trust a little bit, but just didn't realize.
Just over time.
I think that's like we just need a time, or like we just have to think ourselves more. Like, did I do well at today? And just watch the mirror and just talk about, and let's say that I don't think I did well today. My attitude was bad, or my like performance was bad, but I didn't say my teammates to say like, oh, it was my bad, guys. I didn't play well. This game was completely my fault. I think I can do better at next day. Like kind of this thing. I think this thing can help us, or like actually we are doing that. So I think that kind of thing can come back ourselves.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, being able to accept responsibility, which can be hard, right? Because they're like, every pro player in every game ever, whether they admit it or not, has an ego, right? Like, to get to the top of something, I really believe you have to believe that you can be the best, or you wouldn't get there, right? Like, you have to have that confidence in yourself. So it can be tough sometimes to admit, like, you know what? Like, I played horrible. Like, it was my fault we lost,
Yeah. I think actually, like, even though you don't say my bad, if you're thinking that your ego is right, you have to say it.
Yeah.
And just fight back, just fight to the death.
Heart versus head kind of thing.
Like, and sometimes like you just fight back like that, even though if you're not thinking that it's not my bad, but you don't want to say my bad, then you should fight back, You should fight back and just like show up, and who's right, then it's gonna be solved.
Yeah. You can't be a wussy. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
My staff called me out for that. They called me out. They were like, on stage, like, you say my bad like every play, even though you're playing well. Like, why do you do that? I'm just like, I don't know, we lost the play, so I just want someone to say it, and no one else is, so I will. I say, my bad, so what went wrong? It's like, my bad, I didn't play the best. And then like pause, and it's like, okay, so what went wrong? What can we change?
Yeah.
And then that's like almost every fight when everyone's quiet. That's like my way to break the silence to start a conversation.
like an icebreaking
Gotcha,
talk.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's really good.
And then
yeah.
like start to get people to talk about the solution, and then that's an opportunity for someone to be like, actually, I messed up. And I want to shout out Masu. He was like always quiet, and he started to be like, oh, I just messed up my flash. The fight was good. And then like that gives us confidence to play the same fight again.
I see.
It's important to have someone who can kind of like regroup, you know, and then keep the attitude right. I know I saw actually a number of fans giving you credit for this after you guys lost in finals, where you're immediately saying like Gabi Gabi, which my understanding is it's like nice try basically, or like, you know, something or good work, something like that.
I think Gabi is like, oh, it was so close.
Okay,
Like
okay.
if we can do better, you know,
Okay,
like that
okay.
kind of thing.
Yeah, because I know I saw some fans giving you credit for like, oh, you know, like UmTI had like, you know, like a good attitude in this moment, right, and was able to, you know, kind of keep the spirits good, which I thought was interesting. Sniper, what about for you? What do you think is your guys' kind of like biggest weakness,
Yeah,
weakness or strength? Because obviously you guys have a lot of players who I think 4 of the 5 of you, it's first time at Worlds, right?
Yeah. I think our biggest strength is just
Only River, if you're looking really.
I was
Yeah,
like, I
he's
was
the only
thinking
one-
like,
he's the
who
only one
played
on the Worlds
River?
River.
There we go.
Yeah. He's the only one. I thought it was Ayla, but I think it's only River right now.
Yeah, Azael I think got close when he was in OS, but I don't think he ever made it. I'm pretty sure it's only River.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Yeah.
But for strengths, I think just like having the presence of mind of like knowing what you're doing or like just knowing what your job is going into the game. I feel like that's definitely like everybody on our team's like biggest strength because we all just like know what to do. Although one thing might go wrong during lane phase or whatever, and then like we might lose the game because of it. So yeah, I think just like everybody knowing what their jobs is definitely like what we're good at. And for I guess like our weaknesses, just not trusting each other, you know, like I feel like a lot of the time we're just or like one player goes quiet and then like everyone just goes silent after that. So it's like kind of awkward, you know. But like what you guys were saying, just breaking the ice is very important. So yeah, just like not trusting each other is definitely what our biggest weakness is for sure.
I feel like that's something that is so overlooked from fan perspective. You know, I had the luxury of coming from a game where like we just got to basically choose our teammates, right? So you like it was not anywhere, you know, nearly as developed as League where it's like, you know, big money and contracts and it's like you were just put on a team with sometimes 4 other people. You didn't choose any of them. You might not even know any of them. And now you're in an ultra high stress situation where you're expected to perform. Your entire working life is spent around these people, and also guess what? Your personal life is kind of spent with them too.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a 9 to 5 and then go home, right? Like it's your whole every waking moment, and so it's kind of a pressure cooker where it's like, if there's any sort of personal conflicts or things like these people aren't necessarily people you would choose as your best friend, but like, you know, it has to kind of become your family because you have to have that trust. And it's really, really difficult to do. And I think incredibly overlooked by fans, just like, oh, the team didn't work out. I wonder why. Well, maybe all 5 of the players hated each other.
Yeah,
you know, like
definitely.
that
For
could
sure.
be it.
For sure.
100%.
Interesting.
I have
Yeah.
this year this happened with me. Jensen got replaced, and I was one of the big reasons why. I just told my management, with the way he's working right now and the amount of effort he put in at MSI, I don't know if I can trust him. Like I didn't trust him at MSI on stage, and I knew that was going to leave a very big stain for me. Because for me, international performance is a big deal, but more than international performance, I want to know and understand how my teammates behave internationally. How do they handle the pressure of continuously getting beat in the same matchup, both sides? Like you show up, you play. You know, I'd play both sides of a matchup. He'd beat me one side, beat me the other side, and I'm just standing there like, how do I respond? And that's an experience that you're going to get if you get the opportunity to play against the best in the world. You don't always get the best scrims, but if you do, this is going to happen. It's a matter of fact. If you're a rookie or you're someone inexperienced, or even if you have a lot of experience and you're not as good at the meta. And I felt like his response to that was not what I wanted in my team. And there was not enough. For me, there was not enough practice. He wasn't practicing hard enough, and I didn't feel like his performance was what I needed it to be. And I made a big problem out of it. And not to the point of like, fire him or I'll go, but like, I was just like, I seriously think we need to consider quad because there needs to be at least pressure on him to feel like he needs to do that. And I'm a big believer in substitutes. I was a substitute, right? That's how I made my career as the 6th guy. And I'm a huge believer in putting pressure on the main guy and showing him how it's done if he doesn't know. And I would never feel bad if Soaz played any of the big games. I mean, in hindsight, it sucked. I would have loved to be better, but I was mad at myself for not being better than Soaz and not being the clear choice. And I just wanted to share that because that's really important to me. You know, it's really important to me when you go international and you have those really shit days that you step back up and you just next day you wake up and you start watching the VOD, you start playing the solo queue games, you start playing the scrims really seriously, you take every situation seriously and you take it step by step. However you do it, I don't really care, but for me, trust is so important when it comes to preparation. And I've come to realize that. Like the culture there of like, when you are a problem in scrims, I need you to do the same I would, which is sit down and grind until you're not the problem.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think you really can't let
Very true.
like professional problems go over into the personal too, right? Because it's like if you have a
100%.
bad day of scrims and you're mad at each other from that, and then you go to like dinner and you're mad at each other at dinner, then that's gonna bleed over in the next day of scrims, and then it's like that vicious cycle.
It's like, yeah.
I was guilty of this. I think I made the professional problems a little too personal. I have nothing
hard.
against him. I have nothing against him personally, but I know at that event, like, it was easier to avoid him than just look him in the eyes and tell him, like, this is not acceptable. I ran away to my staff and told my staff, and that's definitely my biggest regret of that event. More so than losing to PSG, actually. So I regret that, but at the same time, I'm like extremely grateful that FlyQuest is willing to take a chance on Quad because he put in the hours, he put in the work every day, and it shows. It really does, and that's what it's about. And I'm super excited for Worlds because of also like how much work Masu, Busio, and Quad put in. Because that's what it takes to be a rookie, you know. Like they're all like. I mean, Alan's not technically a rookie, but he's a rookie in my book. You know, like he's a part of our rookie.
He's
bot
rookie
lane.
adjacent.
Yeah, exactly. He's our rookie bot lane. He's part of our rookie
Yeah.
bot lane, and Quad's a rookie. And like, I want to show those guys what it means to be great.
And I think it's cool that you can kind of accept responsibility for the mistakes you made there, because I think that's gaming, but that's also just life in that you have to constantly be trying to chase improvement if you want to actually get better at it, right? Like it doesn't happen, you don't get good at something accidentally, right? Like I really believe you have to be able to have that introspection to realize, you know what, I was bad at this here, I need to do better at that next time. And you have the opportunity, luckily enough for you, to do that at Worlds, right? Before we wrap this up, I also want to know, if you guys have one player that you can name, like who is the #1 player that you want to play against at Worlds? Like who are you most excited to if you could choose someone to go up against?
I already said
look
what my
really
player is going to be. I already said Zeus is the
Zeus,
player I
okay.
want to,
Yeah.
but he needs to make it first, hopefully. That's what I'm praying. That's what
Little bro's got to step up.
exactly, yes. So yeah, Zeus. What about you guys?
I actually didn't have a lot of like want to against because I already against it, but I think if I have a chance, I want to against Pishik.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
I can see it.
I'm not gonna say reason, but
Because you want to crush it.
who knows?
I like it. 369, easy for me.
Yeah.
He's my Chinese brother.
Yeah, he's your homie, right?
Yeah, for anyone that wants a quick recap, 2018 I was playing the Korean boot camp before our Worlds, and he used to play Camille. He was like a big Camille player, and he added me after we played 3 or 4 games of solo queue against each other, and he was like, your Urgot's the only Urgot I can't beat. And then 2 years later we had our best of 5, top Esports versus Fnatic, and after that, after we lost at the hotel in the elevator, him and his like translator, he came and he talked to me and he's like, that's me, I'm M7 Ghost. And I'm like, holy shit, I remember you, you're the Camille. Yeah, and that day it was like, he wasn't even a known quantity, I wasn't really a known quantity,
Yeah.
I was a rookie. But even playing solo queue against each other, we could recognize like, we're the real deal, you know, like we're really good top laners. And getting to know that that was him and like, getting that moment of like, we played a really intense best of 5 where both of us went back and forth because he took me out in one of the games on Salon, I took him out on Gangplank, and it was just really exciting. Like it made me feel like, holy shit, you know, like, it's like almost a butterfly effect, you know. It's like I'd love to play another series against him, and hopefully get a number off of him too. 'Cause so far I've only lost that close best of 5, so I'd love to play against him.
That'd be really cool. I mean, there's nothing better than getting the respect of your peers, right? You know,
100%.
another pro tells you you're really good at something, they know that you're really good.
Especially
Yeah,
when
of
it's like
course.
Yeah.
goated player, you know, like he's
Yeah.
like what, top 2 in China, like
Oh yeah. For a long time now.
Consistently, exactly, yeah.
and, like it's
Very
him and
long
Bin, you know, and in a way, like a lot of people would say Bin is better than him, but that's what makes me feel even stronger towards like wanting to play against him and like proving myself against him, because I'm the same. Like I was always compared to Wunder. That was like the better carry player, the better
Tank player, whatever it was.
Well, that's the thing. I think most people would say I was the better tank player.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
That's why like the parallel between me and him was like very similar, where it's like we were known to be like the space makers, the tank players on our team, and that's what like everyone would always take our side on. But everything else, when it comes to top lane, like literally anything else, like mages, carries, anything, like it would go to the other guy.
Gotcha.
And I feel like that's why I feel even closer towards our images and why I want to play against them.
I hope you guys get to all play against the people you want, and I wish you all very good luck. I know you're leaving tomorrow for Worlds.
Tomorrow.
You said you're leaving on Saturday.
Yes.
I'm leaving Friday.
There you go. So-
Oh wait, we were the latest team here.
1, 2, 3, exactly.
So
You're going
that's-
Netherlands.
so
You guys are
excited.
Where are
doing
you
this
guys
literally
going?
Like,
We're going to the Netherlands as well.
Oh, you going to TL facility?
TL facility too.
Okay, nice.
We're gonna
Only
be
one who
sharing
didn't
it.
get invited.
Can't wait for that.
Oh, it's fine. I'm really happy. I'm going to Vitality, and
Oh.
my best friend is my best friend.
Oh,
is
let's
Vitality.
go.
Hennessang is there.
Interesting.
So
Oh, that's amazing.
honestly, I'm happier than I would have been in the Netherlands. No offense to TL. I'm really happy. I'm really happy. I mean,
that's
like I
awesome.
said, I have so much history back in the LEC.
Yeah, for sure.
Getting to Berlin early and like, really getting an opportunity to absorb all the good vibes, because I know that my European fans still love me, and I want to show them a performance they can be proud of.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I won't have to take out any of my European brethren, but I will if I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm with
Okay.
that.
That's
I'm with
good.
that
It's
as
good
well.
to
I
know
don't
we
know if I
have your.
have to too.
Oh,
Your final
I'm
decades.
all LCS now.
Yeah.
I really am. I'm committed, and FlyQuest is the place for me to be, and I want to take this team very far, and I take growing their rookies extremely seriously. Like, I want Masa and Busio to be the names you think of when you think of the LCS 5 years from now.
What about me? I'm also a rookie, you know?
When you want to join my team, you're
yeah,
but
fair enough,
I don't
honestly.
take responsibility for your growth.
Yeah.
However, if you would
Very
like
true.
to learn from
Very
watching and experiencing what it's like,
Then-
you are free to enjoy the
Free to
experience of whatever it may be. Actually, your earlier is really good, bro. You should,
Oh,
like
thank
when
you,
you said
thank
your
you. Got you,
when
bro.
you said your signature champs were Riven and Jax, I was kind of sad. I wanted you to say Aurelia because like you played against me. Like I blind picked Nara. I was trying to play some Nara, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
absolutely destroyed me. Like every time I tried, I was getting humiliated. I'm
Yeah.
just like, where was that sniper? Like Ivern was meta. Like, just pick Aurelia and Riven, bro. I'm really hoping to see it on stage at Worlds. Obviously, if the meta permits. But
That's the plan, you know? If Nara gets meta again, hey
I
guys,
wanna see it.
my Aurelia is kind of cracked, you know? Watch
I
out
was
for that.
watching
Wanna
Summit
see
play in
it.
finals, and he was spamming Nar. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm just saying, Summit is a Nar guy. He has been his whole career, so maybe we'll get to see the sniper
I wanna
Aurelia.
see
Yes, sir. Yes,
I'm
sir.
wishing you
Wow.
all the best of luck. I'm going to be cheering very loudly for you all at Worlds. I hope LCS shows up. I hope you all have a lot of success there. Hopefully, maybe I'll see you guys around there. And all the LCS fans, definitely do not miss it. Make sure you're tuning in for all their games, supporting all our teams here. Thank you all so much for doing this episode, and we will see you all next time.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.